Hi, I'm Dr. Marianne Cintron, founder of Step by Step Dyslexia Solutions. We're a 501c3 nonprofit charitable organization. And I want to share with you today a story. One of the second graders that I tutor in my home, I'm going to call him Stephen. He asked me, Dr. Cintron, did you ever have trouble reading? And I replied, no. And I said, but my children didn't either, but they always hung around friends who did. And I remember my son had friends who had ADHD, and my heart really went out to some of these parents who had their children struggling with learning to read. And then I was working with him with some of the strategies we learned to teach reading. And one of the things we teach is that two circles go together if two letters make one sound, like in the word thin or thick or them. So TH is together, but it's one sound, two letters. So I was showing him that, and he said, well, my teacher doesn't do it that way. And I said, well, that's because your teacher hasn't learned, but that's the way you're supposed to teach it. And I said, in fact, I trained your teacher. He goes, what? I said, yeah, I trained your teacher 12 years ago. And he couldn't believe it. He says, so wait a minute. You got trained to teach. He said, you should be a teacher. And I said, I was a teacher. He goes, wait, you were trained to teach, you were a teacher, and now you train teachers? And I said, that's right. So it's so fun to see the kids learn about that. So one of the things I wanted to talk to you about was how I'm learning about the brilliance of dyslexic people. In fact, 40% of self-made millionaires are dyslexic entrepreneurs. And I am just fascinated by that because I always heard that Einstein and Ford and Churchill and Leonardo da Vinci, I learned that these genius people were dyslexic. But now I'm in a network group meeting people who are engineers and movie producers and technical geniuses and authors and artists. And I'm learning about these people being dyslexic as adults. And I've also heard testimonies of dyslexic adults saying that they really struggled in school and they wish they would have had someone like me to help them when they're young, because their self-esteem really took a beating. And I would say, well, you know, you're successful now, and we just really want to help those kids realize their full potential and not feel like they're stupid. And we want them to graduate high school. So I remember the words of my mom when I was a young girl. She would say that an entrepreneur is someone who doesn't have a job. Now, that's got to touch the heart of every entrepreneur out there. And the reason she said that was my dad was an entrepreneur. He was a real estate person. He was an insurance salesman. He did a lot of different careers. Well, maybe 3 or 4 that I could remember, but he had a lot of illnesses because he was diabetic. So he never could see the achievement of what he was working at. So he changed and changed. And my mom was really frustrated with that. And my mom ended up having to go to work, and she worked at Lockheed Air Force Base, which was wonderful because it gave stability of money, stability of health benefits, regular hours, 9 to 5 hours. She loved it, and she was really good at it. And I always kind of marveled at people who had jobs for 20, 30, 40 years. My husband has kept his job for 42 years as a manager with an organization deals with gas and oil industry. And here I have had only 2 jobs before I got married. And when my kids were born, I wanted to stay home with them. So I was always trying to create new jobs to be at home with my kids. And then I went back to school. So education is my 3rd career. Now, I have been in it 21 years, but I've had a lot of different roles. I've been in several different school districts, and I have had a learning center. And right now I'm also training teachers and tutoring kids. So I've had a lot of roles in the education field. And I've always been an out of the box thinker. So this is a place where God has me for a time where parents are needing help with their dyslexic children. I'm here to relieve their pain and suffering. Let me tutor your child. Let me bring them into our family of tutors that we have at Step by Step Dyslexia Solutions. So I realized that 35% of the dropouts of high school are dyslexic kids, and 88% of kids in the juvenile system cannot read. So what I'm really passionate about, and I'm kind of having a paradigm shift with this, is let's look at these dyslexic children as diamonds that need to be come out, and the light needs to shine on them, and we need to see the brilliance that they have inside them, and we need to let them discover their dyslexia genius. They might not all be Fords and Einsteins and Leonardo da Vinci's, but let them see hope in their future. So I'm showing some of this information to the students that I'm tutoring, and they love it because the young girl that I'm tutoring is seeing wonderful dancers. The choreographer who was the choreographer of Cats and the choreographer of Phantom of the Opera, Miss Lynn, Juliet Lynn, is a wonderful entrepreneur that passed away a couple of years ago. But anyway, I just want to tap into their genius, and I want you to notice that your child has genius inside them if they're dyslexic. Not to be frustrated, but come to me. Let me help you with your child. And I'm going back to my motto that I used 12 years ago. Dyslexia is not a four-letter word. Let's work with these kids and help them achieve their full potential so they can be successful in school and in life. And not all of them are meant to go to college, and that's okay. But let's help them reach their potential. Bye-bye now.